Hello, beautiful family. Welcome again to One Global Movement, Speak with Heart, where we have decided to come together through divine intervention to help children, women, and young people eradicate hunger, illiteracy, and poverty, build generational wealth while living a life of leadership and purpose. Thank you guys so much for being here. And I'm sorry for being late. We were trying to figure out why the co-host, Sister Yvonne Finn, cannot get into the studio. So that is why we're a little bit late. We're trying to manipulate things. But she also tried on her end. It wasn't working. So it might be something that has to do with her end because I resent out the link to her and she said, uh, she doesn't see anybody. She couldn't get in, and it might have been something that has to do with her end, on her own end. So when we are done here, we're going to figure out what we can do about that. But thank you guys so much. I can see the managing director is here. Thank you so much, John, and thanks to everyone that is here today. Please, the moment you get here, the easiest thing you can do is to press those big thumbs, put them up, and also let us really hit those algorithms with good hashtags. Hashtag One Global Movement, hashtag Building Hopes and Dreams, hashtag Defeating Hunger, hashtag Defeating Illiteracy, hashtag Defeating Poverty, hashtag Planting Seeds of Hope, hashtag Planting Seeds of Prosperity. All those good hashtags that will help the algorithms to really spread what we're doing here so that we can reach every young person, every child, and every woman. So thank you guys so much. We're going to go. I will be the only one here today, fortunately and unfortunately. So I usually like to have somebody here with me, but hey, things do happen and we just have to pick up after one another. And so today is Tuesday, January 13th, and we are in One Global Movement Revolution, part 403. And the same series, Service Starts at Home. And we're in series number 3. Quiet isn't absence, it's formation. Why quiet presence often reflects grounded upbringing, not disengagement. And I'm going to interpret this so we understand how to contribute and what we're talking about. The question again says, quiet is not absence. Being quiet doesn't mean that you are absent. Being quiet doesn't mean that our children are absent. It's formation. When somebody is quiet, you remember, good things happen when we are quiet and we do things quietly without chaos around us. And so that is the period where we form things, we build things, we create things. That is a period of formation. And so, why quiet presence often reflects grounded upbringing? Why? We can ask the question, why is it that quiet presence often reflects grounded upbringing? Upbringing that it's focused on the truth, integrity, and love. Why? Why is it so? Why is it that quiet presence is often reflects grounded upbringing and not disengagement? So we're going to be talking about here today because a lot of times people take our quietness for granted and they think that being quiet means maybe you are ignoring them or you don't respect them or you are looking down on them. But we need to understand that quiet, most of the great things that happen in life are built in quiet, not in chaos, even though the world has taught us differently. So let us bow down our heads and place everything into the hands of the Creator. Lord in heaven, beyond restore in children the power of the home. Let our tone be gentle and true, so our words become safety, not fear. Let our lives be the lesson that love, integrity, and service are sin, not just spoken. That they are sin, not just talk about. Teach us the gift of presence so children feel worthy without striving. And confidence grows where they are truly seen and not just heard. Plant restraint and wisdom. Plant restraint as wisdom. Nurture confidence as courage, and a working service as purpose. May every home become sacred ground where hope is learned before hardship and the future is formed in love, not in chaos and not in noise. Thank you, Father, for answered prayers. So now we're going to really talk about this slowly so that we understand everything, because the world has told us differently that you have to talk, that if you don't talk, then you are the little one. If you don't talk, it therefore means that you don't know. If you don't talk, it therefore means that you're not smart. That is not what one global movement thinks. And we all know that the good things, the great things that happen to us in life are done in quiet. They're supposed to be seen and not heard a lot of time. And so not every quiet child is lost. Let us understand that. Not every child that is quiet is lost. Some are deeply rooted. They are deeply rooted in what they are doing, and that's why they are quiet. Not every silent presence is absent. The fact that you're silent doesn't mean that you're absent. Some are listening, some are discerning, they're understanding, some are becoming. Because when you are thinking about understanding something, you're listening and you're becoming something, usually you have to have a very calm and quiet environment in order to do what you're doing to the best of your ability, because noise is a distraction. In a loud world, we have mistaken noise for confidence. How many of you know that? In a loud world, we have really mistaken noise for self confidence and stillness for a weakness. People that keep quiet, a lot of time people say, look at you. Somebody just talked to you and you're unable to respond. Not knowing that you are the bigger person because you chose to rise above that noise and to be quiet in order to build what you're building. But formation does not shout. Remember, when God was creating the world, forming you and I, it was done in quiet, in calm places. It was done in calm places, in sacred places. It was sometimes even done in darkness. And that is where formation gets the best. But formation doesn't have to shout. And formation does not have to settle for noise. So one global movement says stillness is often the evidence of something well built inside of ourselves. Stillness is often the evidence of something that is well built inside of us, not just making the outside noise that a lot of people or the world wants to hear. So at One Global Movement, we teach this truth that what looks quiet on the outside may be strong on the inside. When you see somebody so calm, so quiet, it's not a weakness. It is an evidence of something so powerful, so something so great from the inside. Because you don't know what these kids are thinking, you don't know what they are building. That requires that calm and stillness that is required to build something tangible, something that will last for posterity. So, formation versus performance. We want to be able to talk about these two to know their importance and to know why some children choose to be quiet when we expect them to say something. Why some parents choose to be quiet when something is expected, or somebody provokes somebody to say something, but they chose quietness and calmness over talking. So this is very important. So performance seeks attention. This is what we know. People who talk too much, they are seeking attention. Sometimes we hear people say they have attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder, because they're always talking without listening to another person also talk. And so performance seeks attention. And so formation builds character. When you're quiet, therefore means you're forming something within you, and that builds good character. A child formed well does not rush to prove their worth. How many of us know that? A child that is formed well does not rush to prove their worth. You know, they move with inner permission. That permission, that still small voice that says, move at your own pace, at the pace that will help you to build things. So, performance asks, do you see me? When people talk too much, they are making people to look at them. They're asking the question, do you see me? Hey, I'm here. Look at me. I'm talking. I know how to talk. I do a lot. But formation answers, I know who I am. Because when you know who you are not rushed to talk because somebody provokes you to anger or somebody provokes you to show your worth. You know who you are. You don't need to show it. And so, one global movement says a formed child does not compete for space. They carry their space within them. And the children that know who they are, just like parents, they do not compete for space because why? They already carry that space within them. They know who they are and they know what they were created to do. And they set about doing those things without necessarily calling for noise. Homes that emphasize formation teach children a lot of great things. They teach children reflection before reaction. You reflect, you think about what you're going to say before you say it. And that requires you to be quiet and calm and think before you say it. And then it also instill in children listening before speaking. Don't just talk without knowing that somebody is replying or understanding exactly what you're saying. And then it also teaching them meaning before movement. You have to be sure of what you want to say or what you want to do or what you want to study. You have to be sure that it has meaning, it has purpose before you take that move to do what you set out to do. This is not disengagement. This is depth. This is really thinking within yourself before it can come out, so that when it comes out, which people are going to see, not just hearing you talk, then it's going to be more meaningful and it's going to be impactful for the betterment of humanity. And so, quiet presence is inner stability. Quiet presence is inner stability. You see people that talk too much. They don't have inner stability. And so quiet presence is that inner stability. Quiet presence is the fruit of emotional safety. You want to keep your mental health healthy by keeping quiet, not talking too much. At the end of the day, you become exhausted and you cannot function well. And quiet presence is the fruit of consistent guidance. You're constantly being guided by your inner self, and that inner self is something that the Creator has installed in us. If we pay attention to that still small voice within us, we will just be so consistent, knowing that something bigger than life is guiding us to do what we are doing, just like we are doing here in one global movement. And quiet presence also means respectful boundaries. You are respectfully maintaining your own boundaries. You know what is within your own capacity to do and what is out of your capacity to do. And you maintain that. You know what serves your purpose in life, and you set about doing it quietly than rushing into doing things that does not serve your purpose. This is exactly what it means. A grounded child is not easily provoked. That means when we teach our children well, our children are well grounded. You can't just provoke them to anger or to frustration or bet them into a fight that is not necessary. So a grounded child does not need constant validation. The child does not need constant validation. You're quiet, you're doing what you know that you're supposed to be doing. You don't need any validation for somebody to think that you have to talk so that they know what you're doing. Quiet is observant, not absent. When people are quiet, they are carefully observing their environment, their inner environment first before their outer environment, to know what they can do that is going to help not just them and their families, not just them and their friends, but also their villages and their communities. That is what it means. When some people chose to, during vacation, they chose to go and be dancing and drinking. You chose to stay at home in the quiet of your own room or your own workstation to do things, to build, to create, to paint, to write. That is more helpful. And so, one global movement says calm is not passivity. When you're calm, it doesn't mean you're passive. Calm is not passivity. Calm is confidence. Calm is without noise. This inner stability becomes resilience in adulthood. Because when you're quiet now as a child, and this comes from the parents, children learn to build in calm environment when we, the parents, model that. That means we learn from our own parents and from mentors and other people, which is it starts from home. Then our children will also copy in the way that we are bringing them up. This inner stability becomes resilient in adulthood because whatever we do, whatever we are enjoying today, or whatever we are going to be doing this year, it is built upon the foundation that we built last year in calm and confidence and knowing that we were created to do this. And then we continue to move forward. What we are doing here today, we started with a foundation. Keep building, keep talking about this thing, and keep taking action. And what we are enjoying today is as a result of what we built yesterday. So, leaders who do not dominate, that means this is what they built from childhood and they start really enjoying it. We see it in leaders all over the world. You see leaders that don't dominate. Those are leaders that build that kind of leadership in calmness, not leaders that want to dominate this country, dominate that country, dominate this area with all kinds of stuff that is not even true. And who suffers? The children suffer. Citizens who do not panic. When in the presence of some challenges, you don't panic. You don't panic. You maintain your peace because when you maintain that peace, things move well. And then servants who act with intention. Intention. You act with intention and consistency, and then that means that you're calm. So formation creates peaceful strength. How homes shape stillness. How do our homes shape this stillness in children? Not withdrawal. Silence or stillness is learned where voices are not raised to be heard. When you want to be heard with understanding and respect and dignity, you have to not raise your voice. You have to speak with that calmness and peace and with that assurance that comes only from within you. Love is not conditional. When you have this kind of stillness, your love for others is not conditional. Discipline is firm but not humane. Not humane is that you don't seek to oppress or to suppress other people or their point of view. And children learn that silence can be safe. You know that when we teach ourselves, children will learn that silence can be safe. When homes do not punish expression, especially as parents, some parents, and I know that I'm also guilty at one point, sometimes you get frustrated when a child is asking you too many questions and you'll be like, but I taught this child how to do this. Well, why is he so questioning me a lot? But I've learned from that to know that you have to be calm and patient to answer every question from a child because we learn just like children by asking questions. When a child is not rushed at home, when a child is not pressurized at home, when they are not restless in the world, when a child is calm from home and a child is left to express what they think and what they feel, the child will rest with peace. Whenever they get into the world, they will do what they're doing in peace. So such homes teach thoughtfulness. You want to be able to teach your child, not handing down all everything to your child. You have not given that child that opportunity to think and to be thoughtful. And so such homes also pay attention to emotional regulation. We create programs, train our children how to regulate their emotions for their own benefit and for the benefit of others. And then they have to learn to trust they'll have to learn to trust their self. Self-trust is very important. We know that we're going to make mistakes. That is why we want to normalize mistakes. so that we trust what we are doing, we trust what we are saying. So this is why One Global Movement begins with early environments. Early environments from the home, not from the community. Early environments, why? Because stillness is not accidental. Being calm, being peaceful, maintaining your calmness in the face of challenges and chaos is not accidental. It is cultivated. It doesn't just come. That is why we are stewards to these children. We try to build it first in ourselves so that these children can see us modeling this, and in turn, they will maintain the same thing, speaking and listening to others, speaking with calmness, with peace, even though we are talking about serious issues. We still speak in peace and calmness, but we are firm with the words that we use, but we maintain that peace and calmness. So, Miss labeling the grounded child. We have to watch out for mislabeling children who are grounded, children who are quiet. We need to know that, because the world will mislabel our children because they are calm, they are quiet. They'll mislabel them, but we have to teach them that regardless of what you are labeled, maintain your peace and your calm. This also will maintain your mental health to be so peaceful so that you can think better, take good care of yourself better, and take good care of your purpose in life. So too often, grounded children are misnamed. Quiet becomes shy. You see that? I know I'm guilty. We misled them. Thoughtful becomes slow. Oh, you're too slow when you're trying to think. And then observant becomes detached. When you just take a step back and you want to observe before you interact, now they say that you're detached. We have to watch out for those things. And these children can only learn these things from home. But history is shaped by those who pause, those who really pause before they act. Do you know that? History, true history, is shaped by those who actually pause before they act, not those who threaten people, not those who jump into using harsh words or words that threaten others or threaten the children or threaten the world. That is not how history is shaped. We step back and we think before we say something. We pause intentionally. That's why we also say we shouldn't work without resting. We advise our children because they see us doing it. You work, you rest so that you can recuperate your brain. And we also say go to bed early and you wake up early. And at least sleep for 7 to 8 hours. Very important. So that the brain will grow. During like around 11 p.m., you should be sleeping. I know I'm guilty. Sometimes I can't because I have something to do. But for the most part, we should strive to do that. So One Global Movement says, depth is often misunderstood in a culture addicted to speed. We know in our own culture here, I know it because I'm living in America. We always running, and a lot of time we do realize that when we run, some of those things that we are running for, we didn't even gain anything. It didn't do us any good. So we take time to do things, but making sure that we're doing them, because sometimes calmness can be a form of procrastination or not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So when we mislabel formation, when we mislabel the way that a child is forming because they are quiet, we risk breaking what is beautifully built. And One Global Movement calls for educators, leaders, and systems to discern before diagnosing, understand before diagnosing a child, honor temperament, honor when somebody says, I'm mad, I'm angry. Really honor that because they are. Because we were born and created with those things, but how we manage those things is what is important. So that is very, very important. Sorry about my alarm. So we need to protect our inner architecture, our inner self. So in closing, I want to give you this closing covenant, honoring the quietly formed. Let us honor the children that are quietly formed. And in closing reflection, the future will not only be shaped by the loudest voices, but by the most grounded hearts. Let us remember that. The future will not be shaped by the loudest voices, but by most of those who have grounded hearts. And One Global Movement Covenant states that if we honor formation, the way children grow, the way they grow in their own quiet corners, we protect identity. If we protect identity, we raise leaders with conscience. And if we raise grounded leaders with conscience, we heal the world. This is very, very important. Quiet presence is not absence, it is evidence of a well formed life. This is very, very important. And thank you guys so much for listening. I know that we are off the time here by 1 minute, but thank God that I will deliver this with some calmness and some peace, which is what we want to see happen here in One Global Movement for our children, women, and young people. Thank you guys so much. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you here. Those of you who are new here, please do well to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on what we are doing here in One Global Movement. And we will not be able to read all the names all the time, but we do acknowledge and appreciate every one of you here that is here to share with us. Thank you, John, for always being here to help all of us here in One Global Movement. We appreciate everyone here. And please come again. We'll be here again on Thursday. Remember, we change from Wednesdays and Fridays to Tuesdays and Thursdays. Please bring 1 or 2 people. Let us continue to help women and children in the world. And until next time, thank you guys so much. And we love you all. Bye-bye.